Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore. We are currently in the quarterfinal of our pro tournament here, and too bad for the Singapore Sentinels in that game one. They lost that game one to the Taipei Snipers, and I feel like with a little bit of changes, we might be able to get a game three here, maybe a Rengar ban, and I know that the Homecraft favorite wants to see the Singapore Sentinels take it to game three. I don't know exactly what they have to do to bring it back, but maybe we could ask our casters, Joe and Jason.
Well, Shocks, that's the question here for the Singapore Sentinels. I mean, losing game number one convincingly as well, I'd say. It took the Snipers a while to really get in there, get that job done. But in the end, they did it. It was a slower game, a slower-paced game, a very tactical game rather than just fight, fight, fight that we see sometimes. Now, 40 minutes it took them last time around. We're going to be seeing surely different bans this time. I mean, that Rengar was too much to handle. I'm
looking at it, I'm like, we have to see a little bit of different bans come in, just like you're saying, but a lot of them have to stay the same at the same time. Unless you want to like kind of first pick Annie, where Mistake and Kaylin both play that champion and play it very well. And we've seen just in that game alone how really impactful support can be with Mistake running around with that Oracle, constantly roaming around too. I'm not sure what they want to take away, though. I mean, these two teams have already played now 3 times, twice with the GPL, 1 here. They know each other inside out, but I think a little bit to me, it's about SGS maybe running a different composition. They had a hard time making the fights happen when they wanted to, and when they did get the team fight on their own circumstances, they would win them. But kind of putting all your eggs in one basket with that Malphite ultimate kind of didn't work for them.
No, and I think we'll see something different this time around, that's for sure. Whether the bans from the Snipers actually change, not too sure, to be honest. Yeah, the Malphite was strong and would have been stronger if we could get on the right target every time. But when the likes of, the Banshee's Veil come out there, it makes everything just that little bit harder. We've just seen there on the screens that we are about to get into the bans and the picks, though, so we'll figure out exactly how things go down. And up until now, things are pretty much the same. Kale and Vayne banned out for the Taipei Snipers. Morgana, the first ban for SGS.
So that Morgana must have given SGS a really tough time. In their, was it week number 2 when they played him for the first time? He actually did finish with 3 kills in that one, but...
Bit of a sneeze?
A little sneeze. But it seems like they really don't want to go up against that. And, the Kale ban, you look at that at home, you're like, why are they going for a Kale ban? But Cryonics, he plays a lot of really weird middles. I mean, they're not weird because they were middles at a certain time, but not really in the current meta. We don't see them too often, so they don't want to go up against that.
Well, Fiddlesticks was taken away here as well. Will it be the Annie ban? Will they ban out Rengar? Will they first pick Rengar? That's what we're going to find out. Jax was actually the final ban here from the Singapore Sentinels. Another champion which can do similar to what Rengar did in the last game, but it will be first pick Annie.
What's happening, though, is there's 3 really strong champions available. Annie, Shen, and Renekton. And by not banning out one of those 3, it guarantees that they can get 2 of them if they want them. And we are going to see, it looks like Renekton picked up here, which I wouldn't be surprised to see TPS pick up a Shen to kind of go back at that. But really interesting bans. The Jax, I mean, it's a little just odd to me. I mean, obviously I know what they're going for, so it makes sense. But I don't know. They could have banned out maybe someone else they didn't want to go up against.
Are we going to see Hallelujah picking up Elise here? Said it before that he's played a lot of Jarvan coming through the GPL so far. Actually not played a... sorry, he has played an Elise game. That was against the Bangkok side in week... Oh, he played a number 4, so... or played a number 5. I'm just all over the place with numbers. That's good. But that will be Elise here for the Singapore Sentinels. So, what are the Taipei Snipers going to go for next, who had... fantastic game on Gragas in game number 1. They're looking like they're not seeing really a reason to change that up.
Yeah, it worked extremely well. He had the damage he needed. He farmed really well in lane against the Malphite. He did die once in a 1v1, but that was the only time, really. Like, he obviously didn't let that happen yet again. But yeah, it's not a bad pickup, and it's one of those most banned champions in GPL right now, so they're definitely going to get that when it is free. The Jinx, though, actually in GPL, 100% win rate, 4 for 4. And now with today, 5 for 5 pretty much. So it looks like they want to give that yet another go. And GodJJ, he did an amazing job on her, so why not play her again?
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise. I mean, why change something that's not broken at this point? Obviously, you have to adapt to what your enemies are going to throw at you. It doesn't matter if you stomp game number 1. If it's a different team you're going up against, those picks still have to somewhat be adjusted in there. But for now, we have Renekton Elise in for the Singapore Sentinels. I'm assuming Well, they may be able to just pick up that mid laner now with the fact that Gragas is already in there. You know, the likes of, if we look down the champion pools, Gragas is one that they play a lot. Syndra played a couple of times, unfortunately banned out this tournament, so that's not really an option. The Kayle also banned out against them, and that almost covers everything that's been played in there. Zillion ones.
Yeah, that's one thing he has played. I'm not sure if it'll work too well with this comp, but I haven't seen exactly what their AD carry is going to be just yet. But yeah, I mean, I really like that Chronix uses a lot of different mid laners, but he hasn't had much success with the last one, with that Malphite.
Well, it seems like Varus may just be the AD carry, and Thresh as well. So they are going to leave that mid laner until the end of things. Could be a mid lane Elise. We've seen crazier things happen. We've seen Elise obviously in lanes, but mostly in the jungle these days. It's pretty rare that we're actually seeing her more moving out to those lanes. But Thresh and Varus, the duo lane for the Singapore Sentinels, locked in. The snipers now, what are they going to go for? They need a mid laner, a top laner and a jungler.
Nidalee. Definitely a smart pickup for them. Constantly banned out here if they do want to go for it over in the GP. Actually, constantly played too. 13 out of 16 wins with her. Not bad right there, but Shen's still available. I don't know, Zonda, he likes to play those tanky champions. I mean, Rengar isn't necessarily one of them, but he builds it definitely tanky enough for it. And it looks like he was happy with it before, so he kind of maybe wants to commit to it yet again. And they have a very strong team already brewing. They have a lot of damage. They have a lot of control. But that's just... I wonder if they're going to go middle against this, if they do lock in this Lee Sin and Rengar.
Yeah, I mean, with a Nidalee there that could go top, that would kind of give you two options there where your solo lanes are going to go. But again, as I said a little bit earlier on, if it's not broken, then why fix it? We're going to see Zonda on the Rengar once again. Lee Sin this time around in the jungle for wins. And now the mid laner's choice for SGS.
There's a lot of different things he can go with. Obviously, we've kind of named out everything he's played in GPL so far that isn't banned or picked currently. And it's all in his hands. I mean, right now, with this composition they have, Elise can do quite a bit of damage. Renekton does quite a bit of damage, and so does Varus. So you can afford to go for someone a little bit tanky, but if you go for someone that has a lot of damage, maybe some form of CC, you have a very strong composition made for picking people off. And Nidalee wouldn't be bad, too. I mean, if you just think about it, because if you hit a cocoon and a spear behind it, there goes half of someone's health at least.
Double AD comp shouldn't be ruled out at this stage either, I suppose. Put down as much pressure as they can onto that Gragas early on. And wow. Well, I didn't expect it, to be honest. Cryonics, as we said, did get to that point where he was able to do a lot of damage and to even one-shot mostly the support, actually, that we saw from that one. So the DFG was in there, but gonna go with that one again. So sticking in with the Malphite in that mid lane up against Nexus Gragas, who was, as we said, really, really good in game one. Yeah,
they have a little bit more of a harder engage. Well, it's kind of equal. I mean, you have a Jarvan who can obviously Cataclysm in, but you have a Thresh who can hook in there and lock them all together, ideally. Maybe an Elise to jump in there if you want, or even send in Renekton. But Malphite can really work in this combo, but TPS kept something that would make them really strong, or made him really strong in that last game, that Gragas. You can knock everyone else away if you do see Chronix go in, and if he does, with how squishy he kind of builds, he's going to die very fast. Not to mention you have an Annie for CC, and you have potential for that Rengar to split push yet again here. And I don't know, it's going to be really interesting to see how both these teams play this one out.
We should also touch on the attack speed slow from Malphite, which is something that we didn't really talk about. Rengar, you know, he got to a point in that last game where he was kind of unstoppable, I think, without the attack speed or not. That's the unfortunate point of things. But either way, you see there the Singapore Sentinels on your screen looking very, very concentrated. They have to be here. They need to win 2 games in a row now against the Taipei Snipers if they're to come back and keep their hopes alive in this tournament. The winner of this game will go through into the next round to play the Chinese side, IG. On the bottom side, we've already got our first semi-final match. That'll be CJ Enters Frost taking on the Saigon Jokers.
Yeah, so that's actually going to be a very, very good game tomorrow, as CJ Enters Frost actually got number 2 last season. They lost to their sister team Blaze, so a little bit unfortunate for them, but looking to redeem themselves this time. And we are in a game here. We do have quite a few wards, actually, from both these teams over on the supports. But Kaling, I really wonder where he's going to put some stuff down. And with that Ghost Ward, he might try to go for something a little bit aggressive. Spot maybe where Wins is going to go. Maybe get some sort of information so they can get the lanes that they actually want.
See that Zonda already trying to get in there and work that bowler strike up. Get his points in that one to get a root down later. We'll see about that one, how it goes. And Ben's basically offering that up to him at this point. Obviously has a decent cooldown on things. Singapore Sentinels all grouping up here on the bottom side of the map, and pretty much a mirror image over the other side. There's a ward being put down there, so that's good from the Singapore Sentinels side of things. They know that this ward is now down because they got their ward in there earlier.
Are they trying
on
to
the
fight?
other side, the ward was coming around as well.
Are they actually going to wait for SGS to walk out of their own side of the jungle? They have a ward down. They know it's going to happen. They have that stun. This could very well happen right now, as they are going to be able to spot that ward.
Oh, that
this
was
could be
smart, though.
so good for SGS, but right now they would be spotted walking in unless they want to go around towards that tri-bush, which we see Zonda already heading for.
They want to fight here. With that pink ward going down, there's the spider check from Hallelujah. They don't know that they're in this brush. They're going to face check it. Zonda's going to face check straight in there. Jumps onto one of them, but Barrel comes across there. The stun from Annie coming out, but is it going to be enough here from this? We see them all going very, very low. Ben in particular there, running down at the front. They're not able to chase him, but there's a kill from Lee Sin. Barrel comes flying through. Cryonic super low, but I think they've got out of this one unharmed.
Wow, they just straight pushed them out. They straight bullet them out of their own jungle, so they're going to be able to maintain it here, and that was with, I guess, Zonda getting caught, sorry, not Zonda, Ben W actually, no, it was Zonda, sorry, getting caught a little bit right there as he just kind of face-checked the bush, but right now they're trying to steal away this blue buff.
Well, blue down to half HP, Hallelujah looking for it, but that will be smited away by Wind. So the initial blue buff take here for TPS comes in. Are we going to see a quick switch over from Elise after doing her red buff? Winds is going to his red here. Are they going to be able to hold on to their own blue? Very, very interesting start. I was surprised not to see a kill really erupting from that one, because it was a straight-up 5v5 fight in the tri-bush.
And Wins, he invested into that Doran's Blade right away, too, so it looks like he wanted to go for a fight here, as he's going to have to back away from red a little bit.
Yeah, it's too low.
And they do know where Hallelujah is, so it's not going to hurt too much. And actually, in that little bit of a fight we did see, well, not a little bit of a fight, that 5-on-5 we did see, Kaylin actually exhausted Mistake after he already put the stun down, so I'm not sure if that was intentional, but I would imagine it wouldn't have been.
It's kind of hard to click on the right target.
When they're all standing together, yeah. I definitely agree with that one, but either way, we do have Hallelujah actually not going for the blue buff. He was spotted going towards double golems, I believe. Yeah. And that means we should see 3 buffs going over to TPS early on.
Yeah, we see actually Winds is going up towards his blue buff. Chompers there coming out, and that could have been the end of Kaylin if he had got caught up in those. In the end, though, not to be, but the snipers have a strong control down on this bottom lane, especially with the fact that Mistake stun ready is always going to be a threat to you.
Yeah, and we did see, I mean, Kaylin without that exhaust, he's going to need it for GodJJ to really help out these fights, but it's an Annie. I mean, you really have to be worried about the choppers is going to hit here. Are they going to go in?
Yeah, the stun coming down as well. The zap goes through, and that will be first blood for GodJJ. Speed up after picking that one up, and he will get out of the tower hits as well. Chowie left very, very low. And that's going to be a lot of damage onto the turret while they work it.
Wow, that chompers into an Annie stun, into a cleanse out of GodJJ right there to pretty much get that zap off right away. Fantastic job, able to get that first blood, able to give themselves a huge advantage in lane, and now you're seeing Chowie just zoned out completely because of mistakes sitting in that bush.
Yeah, and Chowie did start his recall there, cancelled it in the end, so actually he's going to go for it again. So I thought he might be sticking around from this, but honestly he's kind of frozen out that lane anyway, so not sure exactly what he's going to be able to do. He's going to come back into the lane with a long sword, but that blue buff means that there's 1,000 gold. Blue buff? First blood for GodJJ. It means that he's already over 1,000 gold.
There's a B in there. It's pretty close, but yeah. You can see a couple of pings went down for TPS over towards that top side into that second bush, because they're assuming that Hallelujah is there, and he's not too far away. He will be spotted by that ward going from tri-bush here, and that allows TPS to be aggressive everywhere else on the map, and not to mention, Beljung is being very quiet, but Wins did have 3 buffs to himself. He is level 14, or not level 14, that'd be a little bit crazy. He's level 3 right now with 14 CS, but he did go for that Doran's Blade start.
And the pressure continues here down on that bottom lane. Chompers in position as well, and that's what makes it so hard. Double stuns coming up from there. And especially now that GodJJ is headed very solidly up towards level 6, you've got to be very, very wary of that one. That's a lot of damage that can come out of him quickly.
Yeah, if TPS can stay in this lane without getting pushed out, they will have that level 6 earlier on, and that is bad news for SGS. But we do see right now Wins, he wants to go for a gank middle here. But you can see on that mini-map, Hallelujah, he's in the vicinity to kind of turn this one around if he needs to.
I'm actually going up to check the Wraiths there. As Hallelujah headed up over on towards the Wolf side. So doesn't look like there's anything going to be kicking off in that mid lane. Bottom lane as well has stayed pretty stagnant. God JJ's out of mana, so by the looks of things, he's going to go home, and he's almost got that 1600 to say, okay, BF sword right out of the bag.
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually picks it up here. Maybe a couple health pots to return back to lane 2. Doesn't really need the boots. The extra damage would make him skyrocket. Maybe go for Vamp Step if he wants to play it safe. No! He's actually going for a Zeal. He wants a static shiv right away. He wants that attack speed. Huh.
Interesting start there. Didn't expect that one to come in, to be honest. It's Hallelujah here coming in towards mid. We did see the Unstoppable Force come down. There's a Cocoon available here. Can he land it? He's not going to need to. Just finishing off there. Hallelujah brings a kill back from SGS. That was far too easy in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's exactly what we saw in the game prior. Chronix was able to do that himself. Obviously had a little bit of help this time. But next, after being killed that one time, he never got 1v1 again. He's just going to go back, buy up a little bit of magic resist, return back to lane here, and he's still ahead in CS either way, so he's not hurting that much from that death, but it definitely doesn't make his job easier.
Varus coming back into lane now with that Vamp Scepter in on top of his Doran's Blade from earlier on. The top laners, we see already the chain vest, those Giants belts coming out from both sides of things. And again, we are going to say that they shouldn't be killing each other 1 versus 1 without any outside interference from the jungle, but this game's kind of proven me wrong on that front a couple of times already.
Well, right now I want to point out something really quick. We have a lot of wards picked up for TPS. We actually have 2 on a Zonda, which makes me believe he wants to ward up red here, and they want to take away as many buffs yet again from Hallelujah. Maybe take away the blue as it is respawning here. And you do see Wins. He's here. He wants to go for it. But right now we see Annie actually flash over the wall. Missed the stun.
Missed the stun there. The chompers were missed as well. And that was great reactions actually from Hallelujah. But have they done enough here to stop this blue buff being taken away? It's going to go very low. And there's a smite from Wins. Safeguards out on towards Mistake. And another great steal. Full control over the 3 buffs at this point.
Can they control the red on top of that even more? I mean, Hallelujah is level 5, so he's keeping up in terms of that, but he needs buff control, he needs jungle control, and he just hasn't been able to maintain any of this. Wins is still sitting in the vicinity to kind of gank him if he wants to, but if you look at him going through the jungle, he is spotted everywhere. He can't catch a break this game.
Let's not forget that Lee Sin had to go back before he continued on his jungle path after that blue steal. Yeah. So it's actually their blue that's coming up first, which should go over on towards next. Cryonics actually coming in from this, and that's a lot of damage coming down. Ultimate not being used by Nex, though, to actually pull them out, but this could be interesting. Rengar coming in from the top side has actually ulted in for this one. Hallelujah down to half HP. Can they follow through on this one? He knows he can't get the Q past the Spider Lynch, but just that pressure here is going to open up the blue buff. But Ben is coming in with Renekton from the top side. He'll be forced to slice and dice away. They've got to give the red buff up.
Yeah, the damage is done. I mean, the level of disparity already is coming in right now, as you do see Hallelujah trying to fight for it as the rest of the team, but the red's taken. It's already done. Yeah. And now SGS is in a really bad position where their jungler he can't get in the game. He needs to kind of gain control of it again, but he can't keep investing all of his money into these wards to get the vision.
And look at the wards down already. 3 on that bottom side, 4 on the top side of the map. Just shows you that everyone really pulling their weight when it comes to buying up those wards. And Zonda with that Giant's belt, he's actually doing a lot of damage onto Renekton already. Dominus going to be popped here, but Zonda just backing away. But here comes Hallelujah. Is he going to be able to cocoon him up from it? He's going to have to switch out to that in a sec, but Windsor's coming from the side. They're going to go in towards Ben, who's now down to less than half HP. Jump coming in, flash away though. And that will force them right out of lane, but it now means that Renekton's not safe in there. Gragas has actually headed up as well. He's going to be going over a ward, but that might give them a turret.
Oh, but we do have Kronos coming in from the backside here, and he's actually going to be able to not be seen. Well, he's seen now, obviously, right there, but Wynn's doing a great job of just countering Hallelujah wherever he was going to be going, and he's still just having a very tough time. He still has that level advantage. They get a lot of free damage onto his turret, and they were able to turn that fight completely around.
Yeah, the mid lane is now backing off from things. Blue buff with Gragas at this point, so that buff control, as we said before, really in favor of TPS. And look at this, Cryonics coming up to the top side. He's not going to get anything from that.
You're actually seeing Kaling respond by trying to push middle by himself on that Thresh.
Takes a while.
Yeah, just a little bit right there, but still, they pulled multiple people away from middle. They pulled the jungler into that top side as well. So TPS, they know they have control. They know they have control of the game and forcing SGS to respawn and wherever they want to make plays happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dragon actually be done soon because Wind will have his red buff here in a second.
Oh, as minions being pushed out from the bottom side. Jinx 89 to the 62 of Chowie on Varus. That's a massive, massive lead. And we saw that Chowie having to back away and do his own wolves there. That's how far he's really fallen behind in this game after giving up that first blood.
Yeah, this is the exact same thing that happened in game 1 too, with GodJJ freezing the lane as much as possible. It forced Chowie to go back to his jungle and take that. And I was trying to say before, there's a limited amount of gold on the map at any given time. And by taking it out of other places, you're denying it away from your teammates. And slowly over time, it was enough to keep Chowie out of the game, enough to not make him a threat in these fights. But with Winds coming down, they want to go for a gank.
Oh, there's Tibbers. The Chompers have landed as well. And Chowie is not escaping this one. Winds actually picking it up there right at the end. And that was so well executed. I thought that Mystic might have been a little bit early to go in for that one with Tibbers, but showing me wrong, proving me wrong on that front. They're able to get in, and again, Kaelin's going to get a load of farm because he's the only one in the lane. Oh, now not, because Hallelujah comes down as well, but they're looking so good once again. They back off, got full control without an AD carry on the bottom side. Dragon is there, so you see 2,600 gold lead already for the Taipei Snipers.
And it looked like Mistake actually controlled Tibbers to put him on the Lantern and leave him there. So he could, or so Chowie couldn't take the Lantern and stay alive. And that was actually a very smart play out of him, and I wouldn't surprise you if he actually did go for that intentionally, because it caused the death of Chowie, and they get the Dragon off of it too. Zalna gonna get that turret down momentarily, and right now TPS, they have full control of this game, and it all started from level 1. It started from them manning up and fighting.
You see how many cares are given here by Zonda underneath the turret. Ben's like, I'm attacking you, and Zonda's like, well, not really doing anything to stop me, are you? I can see him there just farming up, and he can't do anything at this point. Giant's Belt and the Chain Vest. Zonda got the advantage on all fronts with that one, but look at this down in the bottom lane. The box coming in, Wins. He's surely going to die. Yes, Chowie picks that one up, but they're going to lose the support. Mistake here taking a lot of damage as a Cocoon land, but honestly, I think Chowie might be in trouble. The Sap not quite got the range, but GodJJ going to be chasing through. But here comes Cryonics from the other side, and Cryonics will pick that one up. There's a barrel. It knocks Hallelujah away, and that's 3 kills for 1 in this bottom lane. A great turnaround from SGS.
Exactly what they needed to, because they're getting the kills over where they needed to be. Chowie now 2-1. They got a kill on the Cryonics, so he's 1-0-1. And we saw how strong Malphite can be when he builds AP and he gets going. He just kind of got a kill that he needed for the income, but still, even with those 3 kills, they're very far behind in gold, 2.2 thousand. And next, gonna take a free turn off of that. So in the end, not too bad for TPS, but a great sign of life for SGS.
Well, as we said, if you're just joining us, because I know a few people in Europe maybe just waking up. I don't even know what time it is, so I can't even say for sure on that one. But we are in game number 2 of this best of 3, with the Taipei Snipers having a 1-0 lead. And we can see already that the Snipers getting in position for another take on that red buff. The blue did go over to Cryonics that last time around, so they've managed to secure their blue buff. Funnily enough, after 15 minutes for the first time in the game, Zonda now on towards Hallelujah. He's going to get stunned up with a rappel. He's going to take him over the other side of the wall there. Is he going to be able to escape from this one? The Lee Sin Q lands. Actually, Super Mega Death Rocket was what killed him there, with GodJJ sending it in from the front side. Meanwhile, Ben has popped his Dominus. There's a lot of damage, but not enough to get another kill. But a 1-for-0 will certainly be a happy time for him as Jinx goes 2-1-1.
And Mistake just so smart right there too, just to go over with his team to have that stun so they can pick up that kill. They deny another buff away from Hallelujah, just like you said, and he's sitting at 47 CS, so he's keeping up in terms of that, but his pressure around the map is pretty much gone, where Wins is just, he's everywhere at this point. He's playing Lee Sin perfectly, and right now probably Diamond's watching, very happy to see how well he's being played, and with that side zone coming in, with some more wards being picked up, and that Oracle for Mistake, they're gonna have complete vision control of the jungle of Singapore Sentinels.
Yeah, and Zonda again has a 30 CS lead, comparable I think to his lead in game number 1, playing up against the Shen. And if we look at their overall gold totals, it's 1,000 gold that separates the two of them. That's the Giant's Belt there that he's ahead.
And at this point in the game, you kind of can't afford to be that far behind because right now TPS, they can group up, they can force some team fights here. And Cryonics, he was even forced to go a little bit of a different build here, going for the Abyssal Scepter instead of the Athene's and Holy Grail as his first item. But right now, look at Mistake over on the top side of the jungle, or bottom side of the jungle. He's actually going deep for some wards here. He's just roaming around non-stop with that Oracles and giving TPS complete control. They completely control 3/4 of this game right now in terms of area.
Yeah, and with those 3 assists and a kill as well, look at the difference. 1,000 gold between those two as well. He's actually got himself the boost. Is Ben going to face check into this one? Have they got the damage really to lock him down? Chompers come down, but they didn't quite connect in time. Ben goes down to about a 3rd HP. They might be able to have the inner turret here.
And right now, Zonda's still just pushing top. It's basically 4 on 5, and they're still able to push them away. They're able to push away the tankiest member on Singapore Sentinels over onto Ben. And that is not a good sign with how TPS is doing for them.
Look at the wards as well here on this top side.
You pointed out perfectly.
On the bottom side, but also on the top side. I mean, they've got complete vision control of the enemy jungle. Zonda is now up onto that inner turret. Not got masses of damage at this point, but he adds up really, really quickly with that Q.
Yeah, and you're seeing it right now. And Ben, I mean, we saw him attacking him earlier under turret, under that first one over towards that top side. And Zonda was taking absolutely no damage from that. He's just going to stay there. He's just going to keep taking away jungle with all those wards. He's super safe. And just wards everywhere on the side of TPS. They're controlling this game that SGS, even an Oracle right now, I'm not sure if that would be enough for them to start getting back in this.
Oh, Zonda's got level on Ben here. Looks like he might want to have a bit of a go at him, as Ben is literally just going to face check into that brush. And Zonda here, he's got enough to root him down. Actually, will use it to heal things up there with the W. And in the end, we see Ben able to just walk away. But walk away with his tail between his legs, as it was in game number 1, is in game number 2 here as well. He's losing heavily in farm.
And he's still... Luckily for him, he's still Renekton, though. I mean, that's one good sign for him, because he'll naturally be tanky with that Dominus. But he's definitely hurting quite a bit right now. Middle, though, I think we see a fight breaking out.
Yeah, there is the unstoppable force, but you see it doesn't really do a lot. The box goes down there, but the damage coming in already, and a lot of it is a super mega death rocket goes through. God JJ picks up another one and brings himself to 3-1-1, and that's a worry. When the unstoppable force from Malphite, who you're relying on to do a massive burst damage, is not doing really anything, there's not a lot really to go on.
And the thing is, like, you need Renekton in these fights. SGS has to have him come down, but he can't afford to because he has to stop Zonda from split pushing this top side, and even then, he's losing out on a lot of these fights, and his turret's already very low.
And Zonda here, trying to juke around him a little bit, and Ben, I think, just deciding, you know what, I'm not going to get anything out of that one. I'm just going to back away. Mistake, again, completely deep in the enemy jungle. I think that was a wise move not to stay for that 3rd hit, because he might have been picked off, especially since Dragon was being done. Winds went very low, but he's able to safeguard off to a ward behind, with him now having that Sightstone, and they're all going to go home to shop. There's 2,400 gold for Gragas, 1,000 for Lee Sin, 1,200 for Jinx. They're rich right now.
Nex isn't happy with that. He had 5,000 in that last game to back with. I think he's going to keep farming up, but it kind of shows that with all this money they've been able to accumulate, they're not afraid to fight. They're not afraid to keep pushing their advantage because they realize even without those items, they're still stronger. And when they do finally go back to, to buy up, they can just force a fight or allow Zone to keep split pushing. TPS, they're not playing really flashy. They're not making a lot of, crazy fights happen, but they're playing this game so smart.
Zonda continues to build up. Now got himself the workings of that Spirit Visage. And I tell you what, the Thresh needs to be very careful. Kaelin here with that Oracle Elixir running on him, clearing out wards on the backside of the Baron Pit, but see that the snipers are all on this top side. This time they're going to set up a trap and try and kill this Renekton.
And with the help of Winds and Mistake that they possibly could go for it, they lost their ward coverage pretty much around the entire map because they put them down around the same exact time. So a little bit more cautious to go for an invade of some sorts, but the Oracle that Mistake has, they can clear up that Baron vision and kind of start to bait that in.
Yeah, this game it has all the same shapes and trends of game number 1, really. I mean, close in kills, but if we look at the big engagements, probably big engagement that we've seen, I guess, until now, it's been stronger for the snipers. That's a nice cocoon landing on towards Mistake, but the fact is they're strangling them. They continue this split push with Rengar. it looks very similar to match number 1.
Yeah, and it comes down to the, doesn't matter if you win in 50 minutes or 150 minutes, as long as you win the game. And I guess that's the mindset that TPS has right here. Still see Zonda just pressuring away over towards his top, so the turret hasn't dropped that much lower, but we do see, I believe, a fight breaking out middle.
Wow, and to see there's the unstoppable force coming down. This time it looks good for them though, as we see the ultimate hour of Varus has started to spread their wings. Is he going to escape? No, he's not. God JJ had to cleanse to actually back away. And that is a 2-for-1. Both supports going down. The jungler from the snipers going in as well. And those kills start to spread around. Malphite now 2-0-2, 3-1-1 on Chowie's Varus as well. That was much needed.
Yeah, even though they were 6,000 or 6 to 7,000 gold behind, as long as they hit their combo perfectly with that Malphite, with that Varus ultimate, then they can win these fights, and they proved it right there. So TPS have to be a little bit more cautious now going in for these fights. And SGS not looking out of it just yet. I mean, they're starting to get the items they need built up here. It's going to take them a couple more of those fights, a couple more of those wins to really gain control.
Yeah, I was almost distracted from that fight there in middle, just watching Zonda diving on Shen. Sorry, on Renekton. It'd be impressive if he dove on Shen. He'd have to go an entire game back to do that one. But diving onto Renekton, walking into the brush, and pretty much doing the same over and over and over again to him. And you can see he's completely bullying Ben out of that one. Meanwhile, Super Mega Death Rocket going through. Malphite not going to be caught out by that one, but the inner turret has now gone down. And Renekton was thinking about recalling there, but Zonda's not giving this one up.
Yeah, the thing is, right, SGS with this Renekton versus that Shen, well, we do see actually Chowie can offer a gank on a Zonda, but he has his ultimate available.
Yeah, he should be really careful here, Chowie, actually, because he could actually end up going down, and Zonda is going to run through. He is actually invisible there, but he's going to be caught out finally. A lot of damage coming his way, but look how strong he is. Flashes actually off to the side. Finished off, though, by Hallelujah as he sinks in those fans. But on the bottom side, TPS are pushing there as well. And again, we saw that in game number 1. How many times did Zonda draw almost the entire team away so that the rest of the snipers could push somewhere else?
And that's just, they were finally responding to it very well, going for the fight middle that they had when they won that one. And right there, maybe just choosing the wrong of 2 choices, going for the kill onto him. But luckily this time, instead of ganking him and letting him escape, they had an Oracle finally onto Kaylin. They were able to pick up that kill. They were able to stop that. And that allows Ben to, push out that lane and then start to group up with his team.
Now, there's a lot of gold to spend here. 1,700 there for Gragas, 1,100 on Rengar. Who's now finished off that Spirit Visage, and the Rabadon's Death Cap done as well. Mistakes also running the Oracle, so they're going to try and get back vision control.
I like how Nex actually just finally picked up boots. Just tier 1 boots. He went for straight AP. He's like, you know what? I can roll around really quickly. I want the AP. I want to be bursty right now. And a lot of big items completed. I mean, like you said, Infinity Edge, Spirit Visage, Sunfire Cape, like so many major key items coming in here for TPS that even though they just lost that little bit of engagement with Zonda dying top lane, they can probably force the same thing again. They're leaving Zonda top lane yet again here, and they're grouping the middle.
Yeah, Zonda will be pushing all the way through here again. He's not messing around at this point. That bottom lane being defended by Chowie, but they know then that means that Zonda's got pretty much free reign on the top because they've got a couple of pink wards in the enemy jungle. They can see exactly where everyone is, who's crossing over. Zonda here would have free reign on that middle turret, but he's actually going to go in and try and back up the team, maybe even get in around the backside of SGS at this point as well.
They see him, they have wards down to spot him coming in. They don't have an Oracle though, it ran out, so we're going to see the engage come out of TPS.
Who are they going to go on to though? He actually dives in on towards Cryonics, and that's not really the target that they'd be looking for. The Lantern comes out, they get back off to safety, but snipers here are now all grouped up, and look at that, a blue buff. Something that TPS have controlled the entire game. I think 1, maybe 2 maximum have gone the way of Cryonics, but they steal it away once again, and they're going to keep control of the Dragon.
And I think Cryonics is wondering what a blue buff is anymore at this point. They're trying to counter push here by giving away the Dragon and going for a middle turret, but TPS doesn't need a lot of people at Dragon to finish it off. They have Zonda there, they have Wins there, and they're sending the rest of the team over to defend this turret, but we do have that Malphite ultimate available. They could go for a fight here, but TPS actually just going to back away. They're going to let this one go.
Yeah, Dragon goes down, they lose their turret. Seem to have conceded that fact, that they won't be able to get any more out of it. Currently no Oracle, by the way, for SGS. So no one able to clear out the vision that the snipers had started to put up there. A few of those walls have now actually gone down, though, on the top side by Baron.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's kind of a snowball for supports, where Mistake, because he was able to, get those early assists and get that early, the early vision control, get the early oracles, the pink wards, he was able to make it so his team could keep picking up kills, and from that, pick up more assists and keep some gold coming in. But on SGS's side, Kaling, he went for the Oracle. They were able to get a kill off of it, but that was about it. They weren't able to accomplish much more, and from that, he kind of sunk 400 gold into pretty much just a kill for his team. So he's hurting very much on gold, and you see it reflected in their totals, where Mistake is 5,500 pretty much to the 4,100 of Kaling.
Yeah, that's a big differential. And a good amount of gold across the board once again to spend. 1,300 for Gragas, 1,200 for Jinx to head back home with. And God, JJ farming out the Wraiths will make that even more. So, and again, drawing parallels to game number 1 here, that the snipers are not making any rash decisions. They're not really just jumping in there for the sake of fighting one because they know they're ahead. They're picking their engagements really carefully. Being pretty defensive when not.
Yeah, they're actually being very... Oh, we do see actually a flash engage.
Yeah, gonna go in there. Next actually falling really low, but he did manage to escape for a while. Throws down his ultimate. Actually did escape with his life as well. Now, hallelujah, the one that's surely gonna go down. Zonda dives in onto him. There is a double kill from Jinx, and she gets that speed boost after picking up the kills, which is gonna mean that she can follow through completely. A triple kill it ends up with, and that was a 3 for nothing in the end. Nexus Barrel pushing his chasers away. They might go for Baron.
That was such a great job by Nex, too, because he didn't give them the kill. He was able to stay alive, made them commit so much. The flash, Cocoon, the ultimate coming out of Malphite, and he still did not die. And from this, like you just said, they're gonna get Baron. And TPS, I'm seeing like a complete difference within the teams compared to Europe and here, is that even though TPS was ahead, they played it very cautious. They didn't get cocky at all. They didn't feel like, oh, we have a couple of throws you could probably do here. They played it safe the entire time, and from that, they're gonna take a Baron, and they're gonna take a 10,000 gold lead.
Got JJ again, 6-1-2, and he's got 2,700 gold to actually spend. That not being enough. He's trying to have a go at Chowie, and he's gonna get spotted here. Chompers actually go down, but he needs to run away from this. Piercing arrow comes in, and he might actually fall from it. Chowie's got his flash available. There is a flash coming out. Well, here's the rest of the team. Is he gonna be baited? Ooh, close. Got JJ. He's lost his flash just because of that, but here comes Zonda from the side. They're gonna go towards Hallelujah, and it's all a little bit messy, the fight in here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it's just they wanted to make something happen, and God JJ almost got caught out. But luckily, he had his team behind him, and this goes back to what I said before. They're staying really calm, really collected, and very cautious. They're not going for any fights where they don't feel like they can for sure win them 100%. And, look on Chronic's side. Compared to that last game, he had many items finished at this point. He had at least his DFG done, with that Athene's Unholy Grail. And his ultimate, it's given them an entrance into these fights, but they haven't been able to combo perfectly with that Vars ultimate ever since the fight we saw earlier on.
Nice split pushing Rengar, now 50 CS in the lead. You see how that one has grown for him over time. Actually, Rengar recalling, no. Spots that, Renekton recalling, spots that Rengar is still in lane, actually. And decides I should probably stick around, because at this stage now, that turret actually will go down really quickly. Meanwhile, the rest of the team pushing the bottom side, and again, the carpet of wards just covering the SGS jungle is pretty immense.
Yeah, and Mistake with the Oracle himself, he's clearing out any vision to kind of counter that, and they're just keeping this up. This is exactly what they did in game 1. Let Zonda split push. The rest of the team just group up in another lane here and just kind of not engage when they don't have to. But right now we see Genk coming top side. Zonda, he has ultimate available. How he is showing himself there, it gives the opportunity for TPS to push somewhere else.
They've got Baron on as well. You'd expect them maybe to make more plays from this one. I mean, Baron's already halfway gone. It's only Zonda that's really doing anything at this point with that Baron buff. Wow. Heals everything back. That must be slightly concerning as well from SGS's side of things. When your Renekton can do the damage, or what little that he can do, then gets healed all the way back up. And look at this. Look how many people are on this top side. 3 in the immediate area, 2 coming up from that top side as well. Gragas pushing bottom, but these three from the snipers have not really done anything with their time with this Baron buff on.
Yeah, they've just been pushing those lanes up, and right now Nex, he's the one to continue going for it. While we see Zonda yet again sticking topside. He's going to be taking some damage here, but he has his team to back him up.
This time Benny's not going to escape it. Got JJ picking himself up another one. Actually, he saved the super mega death rocket here. Might have to use that to finish off Hallelujah. Is going to repel, but is repelling to no man's land. Zonda picks up that kill, and now the inner turret on that top lane is finished off. And finally, that Baron buff is being called into action.
Yeah, and they have 4 men to push this top turret. Zonda, does he care at all? And it looks like no. I mean, that turret's falling very quickly. You still see Nex on that minimap pushing bottom, and this is going to be the first inhibitor going down to the game.
The thing is, if Nex pushes mid up as well, they're going to time this one absolutely to perfection to come into the mid lane as well and have a go. And there it is. Minions start to come in, and the snipers move in position. They've bided their time here with that Baron buff on. Zonda really being the tanky front man who can heal himself completely. And he's the one that's just zoning them completely out of this fight. There's no one that's willing to get in there and stop this push. And look at that bottom, almost being just as perfectly timed.
And just in one swoop, they're trying to get all 3 inhibitors down, and it's all in the back of Zonda. I mean, just like you said, he's tanking so much damage, and he's healing it up, and he's being such a nuisance towards the top side. He's just sitting in the base farming up these minions, so SGS has to respond.
Minions all starting to flow into the base.
He's still just farming away.
On the top side is like middle's clear, top's clear. Okay, where do I
Nexus
go
turrets,
now?
those aren't clear yet.
Back to middle, nope. Nexus turret, just gonna hammer away on them.
And he has his ultimate escape too at the same time with that flash. And SGS, they have to go for a fight here or they're gonna lose their base.
Well, it's not the most spectacular of strategies. The split push strategy that honestly is a bit of a bane sometimes in League of Legends to watch, but the execution here from the Taipei snipers is right on the mark, though. Nexia might be getting himself caught out. Well, flash, there is the unstoppable force onto God JJ. He's got hooks as well. The disengage from the Gragas barrel, all well and good, but they've lost the AD carry. Zonda coming around the side. Cryonics is not going to be able to escape, and that leaves us at a 4 versus 3. Hallelujah gets away. Ben pops his dominus, but he's got a lot of damage to do to pick up kills. Zonda going low. Will he finally fall? No, he's still alive. He's still going from that one. Wins will die, and now Mistake chased away from the base. Not all that bad from SGS. Look at Zonda. He's still there. He's still fancying his chances from this one. Look at the massive heal that he gets as well. Ben goes away on the Lantern. Crazy, crazy stuff. Unkillable, a couple of these guys.
And he flashed in there to go for the kill on the Zonda, but he baited him in perfectly right there. And that was so much committed out of SGS side. You saw the ultimate come out of Malphite and the flash pull out of Kaylin, able to pick up the kill on the God JJ. And you wonder, if they weren't able to burst him down right there, that fight would have been it. TPS would have won.
He just bought a Trinity Force, as you do,
yeah,
completely outright. I think he was sat on about 4k gold by the end of that one. Gragas also had a lot of gold, and now has another needlessly large rod in there with a Void Staff Athenes and the Rabadon's Death Cap. The AD carry Jinx 725 at this point for God JJ. Infinity Edge, Banshee's Veil, Static Shiv, plus the Last Whisper, and guessing that's going to be a Bloodthirster to finish things off.
I feel like TPS said to him, you don't have to buy Banshee's Veil until you get caught once and die. And then you have to build it. And he got caught right there, and they're like, all right, you have to do it. You can't keep building damage. We don't want to throw this game at all. And that Banshee's Veil coming in, that means the Subtle Force won't be able to hit it. What do they have to poke it down with? And luckily, they do have a Varus who can hit him with that piercing arrow to stop it. But that means Chowie has to get in a really bad position that he could get caught from.
Oh, look at this. They're setting up a bit of a bait. Mistake with the Oracle. I'm just clearing out wards. The rest just waiting inside of that brush. We've got 5 seconds till Baron comes up. TPS have got a perfect timer on that one. Zonda doesn't care about Baron. He's more about everything else.
He's a one-man team.
Yeah, he is a one-man team. And, actually going to get caught out by the Chaining Corruption and the Cocoon. But can you finish him off? Can you, Ek? He just walks away from that one. He's like, yeah, solid. Back up to full HP. How many ultimates did you just throw at me? Okay, 1 at least. That's not bad. I'm just going to push back up. And the rest of the team in that time, by the way, did finish off Baron. And now they're coming for your base.
And what's stopping them? I mean, right now, SGS, they need to be able to group up and force them into a choke point so they can hit that Malphite ultimate. But with those inhibitors being down, they can't make that happen. Zonda pushing that wave up. And now, TPS, they can take that turn anytime they want.
Oh, Chomper's coming down to
Chowie.
try and zone them. Actually, Zonda is going in there, as you said, doing a lot of damage to Chowie, but they're throwing everything back that they've got at him here. There is the heal coming out. He's still alive. He's actually going to walk away from it once again. Super Mega Death Rocket. Barrel will explode 3 of them. A triple kill coming down for Nex, and the inhibitor is going to fall, and this could well be the end of the game. Chowie getting caught out, does get back to the fountain in time, but this is the Taipei Snipers pushing straight through here. The Nexus turret's not going to put up much of a fight. The Nexus itself goes down, and they'll take down the Singapore Sentinels for a place in the semi-final.
Wow, just so well done. The entire game, both of them. It was so strategic. It was based off of chess pretty much, and they were able to execute everything perfectly, even with a couple of mishaps. Zonda on that Rengar. We wondered, should we see a Rengar ban coming out of SGS? And I think after that one, yeah, because they had no answer for him at all.
Well, that's the funny thing. The first time that we saw him actually run with Rengar in GPL was against SGS, and they actually lost that game. They then went on to play the Saigon Fantastic 5 with Rengar again in the top lane, won that one, and then both of these games with Rengar, like, I think after game number 1, Rengar probably should have been banned.
Yeah, it's like, you wonder what can stop him, and maybe like Shyvana would be like the one champion you can put up there, but that thing is constantly banned out. And coming into tomorrow's games, TPS, I'm not sure if they're looking beatable at this point. I mean, that was just so convincing. It wasn't flashy, but it got the job done.
Yeah, not looking beatable just yet. However, they have a bit of a tough test in the next round. They're going to be going up against IG. Now, this is a team that have not had the best of times recently on the domestic scene in China, but they're a team, and like all Chinese teams that ever travel anywhere to an esports event, they have a massive, massive hunger to win. There's a bit of a team photo coming out for the Snipers, and well deserved, to be honest. We said it, you know, game number 1, it started off slow, as did game number 2, but they both ended, and they both looked very clear as to which way they were going from that mid-game status.
I do like SGS, though, what they did. They found a couple of areas that they could fight from, and when they did, they were able to execute it and would get a couple of kills, but then it came back to that old answer. That question, can we stop Zonda? And they still didn't have a response to that, but still, both teams played very well the entire time, and SGS, they didn't give up. They kept trying to make something work, and fortunately, it didn't work out for them, but it's great to see.
Incredible performance. As I said, that sets us up for that semi-final tomorrow against IG. Of course, the other semi-final also decided. That's going to be CJ Enters Frost taking on the Saigon Jokers.
I'm curious to see what happened in those games.
Me too, because apparently, although we didn't sadly get to see that game, apparently it was a very one-sided game with the Saigon Jokers coming out on top of that one. Picked up a pentakill as well in the second game of that one, yeah, with Lucian. So it seems like the Saigon Jokers in form. That's a good sign for us, because Frost are going to be pretty scary to go up against tomorrow, that's for sure.
Not to mention having McNoon in that mid lane. I'm really curious to see what he's going to be able to pull out here. He's always really well known for top lane, but Frost, I mean, we talk about, TPS looking unbeatable. They've been looking fantastic lately, and Saigon Jokers, honestly, if I were to look at that game between them and TPA, I would have assumed that TPA would have won that one. I would have had a favorite on them, but to blow them away like that, that's a great sign. Yeah,
I mean, TPA are doing well themselves. If I just look back to my stats here, actually, they're 7 for 2, same record as Snipers actually in the GPL. Jokers 5 wins, 4 losses. So form would dictate that right now that the Assassins are the better team, but a 2-0 victory, and as I said, apparently one-sided victories as well for Saigon Jokers. Certainly turning up here for the Bucks for the Intel Extreme Masters. Now, as I said, that's 2 games coming up tomorrow. We're going to be moving into the Pro semi-finals. Then on Sunday, we'll have something a little bit special. I'm not sure if it's been announced yet, so I'm not going to spoil that one. Plus the grand final of the Pro tournament. There's $50,000 up for grabs in it as well. So make sure you get yourselves tuned in for those semi-final games tomorrow. That's it from us here at the casting desk. But for now, we're going to head on to the main stage where Shox is ready and waiting for an interview.
Thank you very much, Joe. I'm joined here by Mistake of the Taipei Snipers, a support player, of course. And I'd like to ask you, when you went into that game too, and you saw, hey, we can pick Rengar again, we can pick Gragas again, and we can pick Jinx again, what kind of went through the team at that moment?
We just feel like, wow, they didn't ban this pick. So we decided to pick this champion. And we think Gragas and Rengar is most strong champions in top lane and mid lane. So we just pick them. So we can snowball in the early game, and we can try to stop them to do push tower or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very methodical, taking the Singapore Sentinels down. And I want to ask you, of course, remember you from when you became the Season 2 champions with TPA. Now in TPS, how strong do you feel this team is right now?
We change our jungle players into the wins, TPS wins, and we think he is very strong, and he can make some early strategy to play, and his mechanic is very good, and we think we can play more aggressive play style in the early game, and we think we hope we can do much better than Season 3.
Yeah, well, you guys show that you have a very good lineup right now versus Singapore Sentinels here. But of course, tomorrow, a great test versus the Chinese powerhouse Invictus Gaming. How are you going into that one?
We feel like very exciting because IG is very strong China team, and we hope we can beat them, and we think we can do it.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll be looking forward to that semifinal, of course. And an applause once more for Taipei. Thank you very much. And as for us, that will do it for our League of Legends broadcast here today. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow with the semifinals of the Pro Tournament, as the Saigon Jokers will be going up against CJ Entis Frost, and the Taipei Snipers will take on Invictus Gaming. We'll see you tomorrow.